All right. Believe we're live at the moment. What is up, guys? Finishing some final little tad bits here. And I think we're good. We're on it. UFC, Bellator, PFL. We got a really stacked weekend of fights. So I figured, you know what? This is a great opportunity to start a new series. Gonna be going over betting previews for all the organizations that have some good fights on this week. Probably going to do some cross betting parlays, some prop ideas. I have a lot of notes that I want to go through and talk about. Thomas Howard in the comments, you're not feeling the UFC card. Yeah, I understand. There's definitely some competitive matchups on this UFC card that would make you a little bit wary. We will talk about it. I do have some bets that I do think can really deliver for us on every card. I wrote down some confident dogs, some very confident favorites, and some props and parlays. I have everything here, so we're gonna get into it momentarily. Smash that like button if you have not already. This is a new series, so I am gonna be a little bit generous with what I expect the like ratio to be. I feel like we can definitely hit at least 70 likes. We'll see what we do by the end of the week. I believe 70 is very reasonable, so smash that like button. I'll be answering the live chat throughout, so you guys have questions about the bets and whatnot. You have ideas you want to throw at me, feel free to make it known, because we're looking through just betting here. Obviously, you'll still get the predictions, and we'll talk a little bit of fighting, but it's mostly going to be about making the most financial returns we can on bets this week, because I know a lot of you are big bettors. You like to throw the money down on the fights, and you want to make some dinero back. We're going to go through each organization individually, and then we will go through and actually talk about some cross parlays. If your bookies allow you to do so, I believe some will. They definitely should, at the very least, if yours does not, find another one, because you should be able to do that. Let's get a sip. Like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Let's first look at the PFL. Some notable names. You got Verdum back in action, fighting a 6'10" man. That's going to be crazy. There's some bets that I like on this card. There's definitely some bets where you can make some maximal profit here. I want to first talk about some relatively safe bets that you can make on this PFL card. Some things that I feel have minimal risk for you guys that don't want to go out there and jump at the dogs or don't want to go for some reachy props or parlays. Let's first talk about some locks here. Kayla Harrison is going to be about as lock as you can get. Valentina Shevchenko level odds. I mean, minus 2,000, but there's not a lot to make there, right? So she's a great lock, but unless you're putting $2,000 down, you're making nothing back your way. I really like, also on the card, Daliha Usman, the brother of Kamaru. He's at minus 400. Daliha minus 550. I don't love it as much, but it's still value there. And then also, I do like Fabian, Janah Fabian. But some money has actually gone down on Sanchez. Might be a good time to snag up Fabian. She is listed, some confusing things. She was listed at 5'9". The tail of the tape said 6 feet. I believe she's 5'9". We'll find out on Fight Night, but I still feel stylistically she matches up very well. So let's say you have those locks and you do want to play a parlay. We're going to throw it out there and give you the parlay option here for this PFL card. So we'll throw down what we would say is moderately safe action. We got Usman, Harrison, which it doesn't give you much. And then also Fabian and Daliha. It's plus 135. Do I like seeing a plus 135 tag for my parlays? Not necessarily. I want to add in a little spice and excitement. Do you have confidence in the dog? Do you have confidence in the dog? Add Justin Willis. You're looking at 557. I think this is a lock. This right here at 557 is an absolute dynamite parlay. It's a parlay, I believe, you guys might want to play. I'm going to play it personally. Let's see if we can make a little dinero down on these fights here, because I do think there's definitely some money to make. And let me just answer a couple questions over here. Thoughts on Adesanya's Gyno Camastia? I talked about it way before you guys probably were even tuned into the channel. Obviously, there's probably some type of hormonal imbalance normally caused by exogenous hormonal usage, if you know what I'm saying. Martin, I appreciate you, my brother. Good man right there. Shout out, Martin. He's the man, bro. He helps me with the intros and outros, all those edits. That's his stuff right there. He's the man. You're a little worried about Marina Rodriguez and Michelle Waterson. Definitely, that's an understandable worry. We'll get into the UFC very soon. We'll quickly go through a little more of this PFL card. If you like dogs and you like parlays, I like putting Justin Willis on the line because I think he's going to go out there and do very good work here. Another dog who I will say you have to err with a little bit of caution, potentially, if the fight's still on the line. Did they lose this fight? I'm not seeing the line here. There was a... Oh, here we go. We got it. Okay, excuse me. Helena Kolesnik. Now, my fear with her is inactivity. Hasn't fought in a couple years. Taylor Guerrero barely fights. Had a fight like a year ago, but before that took off like 10 years from professional fighting. If you succeed on this one, you're looking at 1280. So Muhammad Usman is going to work his opponent. I mean, I think it's a level difference. So let me give you some argument to why I think these are locks. Usman, Brandon Sales is not nearly at his level. He's going to get out wrestled and controlled throughout. Might go the distance. Kayla Harrison, different level than her opponent. Of course, she's the bigger girl by 4 inches as well. Stronger. Everything in her favor. She's not losing. Janna Fabian, I think her kickboxing skills are very technical. Laura Sanchez is okay, a lot slower reflexes. You can tell she's not the natural striker. As long as Fabian can defend the takedown, I believe she will, especially that she's not even as tall at 5'9". I mean, how low is she going to have to go to get for double legs, being her opponent Sanchez is 6 feet too low. She's not going to get double legs on her. I like Fabian. Ante Delija, you got Capoloza, who's a one-trick pony. He knocks you out or he gets beaten. Anta Delija can win by submission, knockout, or decision. He's a very good wrestler alongside having really good straight punches. I like his patience. He's going to win this fight. Delija is an absolute lock. Justin Willis versus Dennis Godslov. Godslov struggled against... wow, the name is totally escaping me here. Asian fighter, Satoshi Ishii. There we go, Satoshi Ishii. Godslov really struggled in that matchup with Ishii. Got a majority decision. Justin Willis would run right through a guy like Ishii. I'm not saying MMA math is going to work. Styles make fights, but Godslov is not going to be physically as strong. Willis, UFC vet, he was working towards being a UFC contender. I don't see him losing to Godslov. I think that Godslov has the momentum riding in his favor, but you can't sleep on Justin Willis. He's one of the lock dog picks for me. I'm throwing down on Justin Willis, our boy. Got to represent the UFC well. Leaving now, you know, he was a hot heavyweight. I liked him. He was a funny guy, and I think he actually had a good skill set. Obviously, he lost to Blades, but look how good Blades is doing. And then Helena Kolesnik, more fights in her opponent as a pro, has looked decent in them. My only fear is if somehow Taylor has gotten way better, you know, even through her inactivity. I guess we'll find out. She has won 2 exhibition bouts, but it's exhibition, it's Invicta, it's weird, the matchup. She hasn't fought that high level of girls. I think that Helena Kolesnik is going to beat her as another dog pickup. So, plus 1280, I feel we have money here. And this right here is a 6-fight parlay. If you want to add some more, I think Caitlin Young is going to run through Cindy Dandois. Dandois, my only concern is if she got the fight to the ground, her stand-up is not good. Not good. And I'm not trying to hate on the woman here. She's training hard. She's a mixed martial artist. But when I see bad stand-up, I know. And that stand-up is nowhere near high level. She looks like she's a bit sloppy, a bit slow, and honestly is not a great striker by any means. She's not a high-level fighter, and she's going to lose. So if you want to throw her in as well, we're now looking at a solid 7-fight parlay for plus 2,170. Definitely going to play a little something like this because I do think this right here is pretty much a lock parlay. I'm about to give myself a snapshot of it to make sure I have it all noted down. Do you want to, if you can get an 8-fight, the reason I am more so fading the Verdum Fajeda fight, this dude's 6'10", Renan Fajeda, and he's a really good striker. His most recent loss is a disqualification. He beat Jared Vandera, who's now in the UFC, and he beat him convincingly. Fabricio Verdum recently lost to Aleski Oleinik, who, at the end of the day, he's a grappler, but Verdum lost that fight in a fight he should have won. Oleinik is not nearly at his level. Granted, he looked very good against Alexander Gustafsson. Gustafsson's not 6'10" and not a natural heavyweight. Scary proposition. I think there's definitely a case to be made for a prop bet on Renan Fajeda if he possibly is available for a knockout. As of right now, it doesn't. Fight goes the distance, plus 325. It's expected not to go to decision at minus 475. If prop bets release, who knows when. I will be doing the weigh-in recap tomorrow, and we're going to talk more about the PFL betting. I would say throw a little something down maybe on Renan Ferreira by a KO, because I do think there's a legitimate possibility he will sleep Fabricio Verdum. I'm not saying it's guaranteed. I think Fabricio should beat him, but it's the fight game, and crazy shit does happen. Thomas Howard, I do think Verdum should win. I really do, and I do hope he does. My only fear is this 6'10" specimen of a man with solid kickboxing. He doesn't get him to the ground. We'll see, though. We're gonna see what happens. At the end of the day, I do think Verdum on the mat, quick submission of this guy. Now, that is pretty much it for the PFL portion, but we will be sliding back to PFL before we finish because there are going to be more things we want to talk about there as far as cross-playing it. Definitely some ideas there for prop bets. We'll probably talk about tomorrow, assuming they release at least some for the main card, because right now they don't have any out there. Now, let's go to Bellator 258, Archuleta versus Pettis. Overall, I really like this card. I'm very pumped to see what happens. There's some serious favorites. There's some quality dogs. I first want to go through what I say on this card is the most live dog. I think Rafael Carvalho is going to beat Lorenz Larkin. He never looks great when he fights at 185 pounds. You got Carvalho, the former champion, split decision with Lyoto Machida. Very good kickboxer from range. The only guys that beat him easily, like in his last fight, are very good wrestlers, guys that can submit him. This is not the matchup. Lorenz Larkin, a pure striker at minus 245. I would not throw down on Lorenz. He's explosive, he's fast, but he's not very built for 185. Sure, he's fought all the way up to 205, but never had good results in the UFC. He was not a good middleweight. He was a contender at welterweight. Same here. Carvalho wins this fight. I think he probably does so by a unanimous decision over Lorenz Larkin at plus 185. You're looking for a straight-up dog to throw money down. I like Carvalho for sure. Definitely will have him in some parlays, and definitely will have him straight up as well. Now, some more dog picks. I think Peter Quilley is a live dog, but I don't necessarily guarantee you that he's going to beat Patricky Pitbull. It could happen. He has good tools. He's an SBG guy, good striker, tricky, tough to finish. But Patricky's brother is elite level, and he is known for being very good. Now, this one here for dogs is another maybe, but a lot of concern. A lot of people were concerned with the pick of Sergio Pettis. I am riding with our boy Sergio. I want to see them next to each other at the face-offs on Thursday. We'll see if that sways me. But I do think technically Pettis is better. Archuleta, I will admit, slightly bigger guy. Naturally, strong guy, decent wrestling. But if Pettis can out-kickbox him and move, I really think he can win that fight. And at plus 130, not super widespread. Don't love the bet. But if you want to play a dog with a little risk to him, I think Pettis is another good pick. Now, as far as favorites who are absolute lock-ons here, because there's definitely some lock-on picks here at Bellator. Definitely going to have to lock it with these guys. We're going to open up a parlay with our lock-ons just for the hell of it. I feel like Michael Venom Page most definitely have to lock him in because he is an absolute monster. I mean, he's very good from the outside. Derek Anderson is not going to offer up much resistance for him here. I think this is an MVP fight, and I think he goes out there and really wins it. Patchy Mix, the odds have really gotten wide on him because Morales is significantly outmatched. Logan Storley, another one, extremely widespread odds here. But these three at minus 149 are, I believe, guaranteed victory for you. I think it's very unlikely that we see these fighters here lose. You want to add in a little spice. You want to add somebody else in. You can add in Eblin. I think he should beat Madrid, but Madrid is good with submissions. Could catch him in something. Less likely, though. Not that likely. It's not, especially he's older, too. Unlikely. But I have to acknowledge the more risk as we go forward. Henry Corrales definitely should beat Johnny Campbell at the minus 550 price tag. We'll wait on that to see if we want to throw him down. Josh Hill is a live dog against Stotts, possibly. But I think Stotts is just too skilled. I think Stotts is going to beat him. I think right there, these five strong confidence favorites at a plus 218. And then if you want to add in Rafael Carvalho, the dog, you're looking at plus 805 of near lock money here. I think very likely we see it. Now, people have been asking, what's the Rumble Johnson lines looking like versus Jose Augusto? Minus 485. Plus 350. Rumble is going to win that fight as long as it's Rumble Johnson. I've seen Augusto fight before. He's good. He's got nice submissions, decent takedowns, but he's slow, he's plodding, and he's significantly outmatched in striking on the feet with Anthony Rumble Johnson. The power difference is levels apart. Levels and levels apart. But I am a little fearful that Rumble losing a lot of weight, recently bodybuilding. Will he be the same guy? Henry Hoof says no, but of course your coach says no. If you believe Rumble will show up, he's a lock pick. He shouldn't lose this fight to Jose Augusto by any means. Plus 992 for this. I think it does deliver. Page lock, Mix lock, Storley lock, Eblin lock, Stotts, Carvalho, and Anthony Rumble Johnson for plus 992. I think you're money and good to go on this one. I think we're going to see a lot of success here, and I think that this is one to play. If you're allowed to, in your line, make it this big, I believe you should be able to at your betting side. I don't see why they wouldn't. If I'm going to add in somebody else, I do think Henry Corrales is another lock of the night. At minus 550, he's a strong favorite. You're now looking at plus 1,190, and you got yourself, I think, money. I think we're going to succeed on this. I really do. I can't wait to play it myself. I can't wait to see the money add up this week because I really feel like there's some obvious ones here. We know how to pick them, and I do think this parlay right here, another money parlay for us. I feel like there's money to be made on both cards. If we succeed on the parlays on both, we'll be up big by the time Saturday comes around. We can take a little bit of risk for the UFC. Let me answer some questions before we go over to the UFC one here. Let me see what's being said in the chat. Yeah, Rumble is a pretty solid favorite. And for Sam Dobson, let me answer your question about Cowboy and Morano. I'm going to pick Cowboy Cerrone. He should win it. I mean, if you look at Morano, he's a simple fighter. Forward, backwards. He has a style that is Muay Thai-esque, but does have a decent ground game, has some submissions. But he's not going to beat Cowboy as long as Cowboy Cerrone shows up like himself. As long as it's Cowboy Cerrone, even that fought Nico Price, Alex Morono won't beat that Cowboy. But if it's Cowboy, who's a complete shot fighter, Morono will have a chance. If you want to sprinkle a prop on a Morono knockout, maybe, but I don't love it personally, and I'm not doing so. But we will play around with that once we get to the UFC momentarily. But yeah, Storley's at 1,200. He's a lock. I mean, the guy just gave Amosov his toughest fight yet. Split decision. Am I more confident in Willis or Verdum? You know, earlier in the week, I think it would have been like, oh, definitely Verdum, but I'm just a little fearful with Fabricio, man. I do think he should be back to complete form and he should go out there and submit, but this guy's 6'10", the 6'10" and athletic, it scares me because even if you're very good, a guy that's 6'10" and really athletic could give you a lot of problems. I mean, he's almost the height of Stefan Struve, but he's a lot faster. He moves better than Struve. Granted, does he have a chin? It seems as though, but he hasn't fought high-level guys. I guess you maybe have to go Verdum, but I don't know. I maybe Willis, because there's more upside on winning with Willis here. Well, let's now jump to the UFC. If you have not yet, smash that like button. The goal, 70 likes on this video. I do think we could way surpass 70. This is the full betting breakdown for this week in MMA. The best bets in MMA this week that we feel like we can make. There's a good amount of them. There's props, there's parlays. A lot of people feeling like this UFC card is a little risky. There's definitely going to be some serious action and some competitive fights on this UFC card. It's not an easy pick'ems, but I do have some notes that I want to bring up and talk about from this UFC card. I want to talk about two top dogs of the week from the UFC. I really like the odds of Angela Hill winning at plus 155. Ribas is excellent on the ground, but if you stop her takedown, and Hill is known for good takedown defense, I think she can beat Amanda Ribas here. I think that from the outside range, she's very good. Hill has been getting screwed over by the judges. I think it's her time to shine. I think she will succeed against Amanda Ribas at plus 155. I really like her here. Another live dog is not necessarily even a dog. It really is going to depend on what betting site you go to. I think Ben Rothwell, if you can get him at near pick'ems odds, I think he should beat Felipe Lins. I have not been very impressed by Lins since he came over to the UFC. The competition level is definitely a lot better than PFL's heavyweight division was when he was the champion there, and it's evident he's not doing great in the UFC. Knockout loss in his last one. Ben Rothwell, I think a grinding decision is very possible here. Now, let's talk about some of the safer bets on the card, but I will acknowledge there are some very good matchups on this card. This is not PFL, this is not Bellator, there's not many huge favorites, there's strong confidence picks, but there's live action throughout the card. I mean, you see only really widespread in two fights on the card. Ludovic Klein, who's making his sophomore appearance in the UFC, and Marina Rodriguez, who's in the main event. So I would say some safer bets for the UFC card gotta be Gregor Gillespie. I think he is probably my number one guy to bet on it in the UFC this week. His game matches up so well against Fajeda. He's not going to get submitted. He's so much physically stronger. He's going to grind out a unanimous decision over Diego Fajeda, and it might turn into a bit of striking, but Fajeda's not the best striker. He's okay. He's decent, but I feel like Gillespie definitely has the boxing edge. He definitely has some athleticism and a bit of pop in the hands, even if you don't really get to see it too often. Another guy who I think should win, I think Geoff Neal, but I will say I am a little worried about Neil Magny's height. But at the end of the day, Neil Magny, not a big puncher. Neil doesn't have to worry about that. He's going to be looking to close distance and land big shots. At one point, he was the next thing at 170 pounds. Wonderboy kind of killed that, but I still think Neil has a good skill set. It just shows how good Wonderboy is with striking. I'm going to pick Neil in that one, and I do think he's another really good pickup. Now, little more risk, but I will say stylistically, the matchmaking of this fight, Carlston Harris should absolutely control Christian Aguilera with his wrestling over the course of 3 rounds. Have to note, UFC debut. That's never a sure thing. That's always a scary thing when you're betting on a debuting guy. Christian Aguilera made his debut during the pandemic. He's now had a couple fights, coming off a loss in the last one, submission against Sean Brady. Harris, I don't necessarily think taps him, but I do think he controls him on the ground and could maybe lock up a submission. I think he's another good pickup. If you ask me on the main event, I think Rodriguez, the biggest concern a lot of people are having, myself included, is the gas tank. Michelle Waterson, though, definitely going to be at a disadvantage as far as power, as far as strength in the clinch, and as far as range go, because I do believe she is a bit shorter than her opponent here in this matchup. You feel like Morano has too much power? Which fight? Let's see. Let me see. I can find this here. We're talking about Morano from, I'm losing my train of thought here. Let's just focus on the UFC, man. I'll go back to it, man. We'll check out Morano in a minute. I got the notes I got to follow here, man, so I don't lose my place. All right, so let's do some prop bets because the UFC has the prop bets available. I want to talk about prop bets. I want to talk about potential money to be made on these prop bets. Phil Hawes, Kyle Daukaus. So I think Hawes is a 1 or 2 round fighter. So if you do want to throw on Hawes at plus 275 by a TKO, it's not terrible. It's possible. If you ask me what I think Daukaus wins by, I really lean Daukaus winning this fight here by a decision at plus 325. That's another play you could potentially go for. I like Daukaus to win this fight. You see Hawes, he tends to gas a bit, and Daukaus is very well-rounded. His brother, Chris Daukaus, is an excellent striker. He's going to be very prepared for Phil Hawes, and I think a decision bet on Daukaus, it's for me very confident, and I do think he's going to succeed here against Phil Hawes. As far as him by submission at plus 325, I have more confidence in a decision. If you want to straight up bet with Daukaus, he's a minus 140 favorite, so it's really going to be on how much you want to throw down, but there is some upside there for sure to land. And Michael Key, I totally agree. It's Wonderboy. Wonderboy makes everybody look bad with striking. It's just not a guy that pretty much anybody can really look good against. But if you guys haven't yet, smash that like button if you're just tuning in, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already as well. Looking forward to this UFC card. I do still think we can make some money on these props. You're going to have to have a little cojones and you're going to have to take a little risk, but I believe it's going to deliver for us, guys. I really do. Now, some more props that I want to talk about. Klein by KO. Ludovic Klein is the next hot prospect coming up. He's fighting Mike Trizano, who won the Ultimate Fighter. Hasn't been super active since then, but he is fighting Ludovic Klein, who's a plus 140 to win by knockout. I don't love the plus 140 price tag, but I do believe a sprinkle on that one. We're going to see him knock out Mike Trizano. The stylistic matchup, I mean, Trizano has decent grappling game, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's something that Klein is going to necessarily strongly struggle with. I think he fends off the takedowns fairly well, and I think you're going to see Ludovic Klein stop him in 2 rounds or less. I could see it in the first. I like the plus 140 price tag on Ludovic Klein winning this one by a knockout. That's a good prop right there. Now, we got some more props that we want to throw down. Let's see this one here between Carlston Harris and Christian Aguilera. I like the idea of this fight goes the distance, plus 150. I think it probably goes the distance here. If you want to throw on Harris, because I do think he can win this one, Harris to win this fight by a decision, you're looking at plus 350 money. I think these props can come through. Aguilera is a guy that needs a knockout, so if you do think he's going to get it, it's plus 225. Personally, not thinking he will. I think you're going to see him on his back a lot, getting controlled on the ground. Sean Brady submitted him. Do I think he's going to get submitted here? No, I do not. I think Sean Brady is a bit more sound with his submissions than Harris, but I still think Harris has the tools to grind out a win over Christian Aguilera in this fight right here. But I do think that fight definitely going the distance is a money prop bet. Now, Adashev Benoit. This is a fight that's interesting, right? Because if you look at Adashev, he's 3-3 as a pro, but he's a good kickboxer. Ryan Benoit, 10-7 as an MMA fighter, not the best record, but you have to acknowledge the guy has fought good competition and done fairly well against it. Win over Sergio Pettis, split decision loss to Brandon Moreno. Tim Elliott recently, he lost to him. He should beat Zaruk Adashev, but I don't love necessarily a straight up bet on Benoit. If you want to throw down, I like fight goes to the distance, and if you want to bet on Benoit, I feel like Benoit winning the fight by a decision is definitely possible here. I think he should look to wrestle against this Adeshev guy. Granted, a lot of these kickboxers develop very good hips and good takedown defense, and you see them stopping takedowns as they progress in their MMA career. Israel Adesanya is evident of that. Plus 180 for Benoit. I like it. If you want to bet Adeshev, he's not going to win by submission. He's not going to win probably by anything other than knockout. So if you like the plus 600, you could try it. Maybe he could squeak out a decision, but his opponent's a better mixed martial artist. Really is going to be depending on who you're picking here. But for me, my more confidence is going to be a Benoit decision. But if I got to throw a little risk and you like Adeshev, more of a dog or pass situation, plus 600, it's not bad money for Zaruk Adeshev. And I do think that this fight is kind of a toss-up here. And that's my one fear of betting this fight straight up. Ryan Benoit's good, and he should win. But Zaruk Adeshev has a lot of X factors and a lot of unknowns in this matchup here. All right, let me check out some of these comments here. I'm a little bit behind on the comments. I apologize, guys. All right. Nichuki, Neal, and Gregor with MVP. Yeah, I think that's a money parlay if you're going crossplay. Klein looks good, man. I like Klein a lot, but you got to respect Mike Trizano. I can't totally shit on the game of Mike. Mike's a very skilled fighter, but I think Klein sleeps him. Diego, submission prop. Diego Sanchez is off the card, my man. He's cut from the UFC. Klein, Nichukwi, Gillespie. I like it. I like that. I was actually going to bring up that parlay as a potential lock. Harris is a big guy. Yeah, I like Harris to win this fight, and I think it's going to be a lot of control. I mean, if you think of Harris, too, and like you just said, he beat Wellington Thurman, who, I mean, is not a top level guy at middleweight, but by every mean, I think he would beat Christian Aguilera. So to me, perfect sense. Throw a little something down on Harris, man. The odds are undervaluing him, and he's fought some good guys over in Brazil. If you like Ribas, you could try it, man. I just think that Hill's a tricky fight for potentially, man. Because Hill is very good, and I think she's one of the most underrated females in the UFC. Now, another prop bet that I like, Gillespie by a decision. Let's see what value we can find this at, because if the value is not good, then obviously we won't play it. But I do think there's some good value here for a Gillespie decision. Plus 150, it's okay. I don't love it, but I do think that's his means of victory, and that's how he's probably going to win it. I would throw a little something on that one personally, and I'm probably going to. Guys, before I forget, smash the like button. As I said, goal is 70 likes on this video. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We cover all things MMA. We got predictions. We got betting odds. We got analysis. We're doing it all. Stay locked in here at MMA Experts. Hit that like button. Let's get this video to at least 70 likes. I think we can blow 70 likes out of the water, though, and pass it to probably over 100. But we'll be moderate and generous here. 70 or less than generous. We'll be frugal here and say 70, but we're looking for big numbers. Now, let's talk about Angela Hill and Amanda Ribas. This is a fight here I like a bet on, and I'm betting the dog. As you guys know, I like Hill. She's my dog. She comes through for me a lot. She gets screwed on decisions, but as far as skill set goes, she's very good, and she's going to beat Amanda Ribas here. I just feel she will. I will say, Ribas, if she somehow gets a hold of Hill, gets to her back, it could be trouble. It could be over, because Ribas is excellent with her jiu-jitsu. But Angela Hill has shown very good takedown defense. She gets up to her feet very well. She's not the same Angela Hill from many years ago on The Ultimate Fighter that kind of was a primarily only striker without much ground game. At plus 245 to win by a decision, I think that's probably the way she wins it. I don't mind it, but I don't love that it's not plus 300. I was hoping for a little more. I still think Hill winning by a decision is her most likely means to victory. This fight is expected to go to decision at minus 180. I think there's a case that people are going to feel that Ribas is probably going to control her on the ground. So Ribas winning this one by a decision is sitting at plus 155. For me personally, I like Angela Hill at the plus 245. It's an okay bet. Sprinkle a little something on that one. I think she's one of the dogs of the week that will absolutely cash here. Ben Rothwell, Felipe Lins. The reason I don't love a prop bet on this one with heavyweights, you could see a knockout, but I do think these guys are probably going to decision. Both slower heavyweights, not the best heavyweights on the planet, but definitely decent level, I would say. I mean, they're decent heavyweights, right? Felipe Lins and Ben Rothwell. If you're interested in the Cowboy Cerrone fight, I feel like Cowboy, if he's on his shit, if he's Cowboy, if he's the Cowboy, even that fought in the last fight against Price, he should beat Morono. As I mentioned earlier, I really think he has the tools to do so. Unanimous decision, Cowboy Cerrone. If it's available, let's see what we can get it at. Cerrone wins by decision at plus 160. It's a decent prop. Maybe you want to play that prop, maybe not. I like it. I don't love it, but I do like it. And there is some possibility there. But now, let's talk UFC parlays, because there's definitely going to be some parlays here. And let me just also double check on the comments real quick, the live chat. Yeah, Nachukwi definitely is. See, the thing, as you said, Richard Cruz said something good. Adeshev and Benoit both can be knocked out. The one thing I like about Adeshev as a dog, you got to remember, high-level kickboxing experience. I think Ribas, I mean, let's just look at it like this. Angela Hill is not a girl that gets finished very often. I mean, she went the distance with a lot of game opponents. She hasn't been finished in a very long time. I don't necessarily think that Ribas is as good as the hype right now. I'm not trying to shit on the girl, but I do think the hype's a little bit unjust. I think that Marina Rodriguez beating her up bad the way she did kind of exposed her game, and I think that you're going to see Angela Hill win, but I don't think it's the same method of knockout. I mean, at the end of the day, Richard Cruz, you like Hill with no scorecards at 190, you could play it. I mean, at the end of the day, Ribas coming off a knockout loss. You see fighters, sometimes they get knocked out, and then they just keep getting knocked out every time they fight after that. I'm not necessarily guaranteeing we're going to see that with Ribas, but I can't necessarily say that it won't happen. Now, let's talk some UFC parlays, because there are some. I'm not going to say it's the best card to parlay. I'd rather parlay a Bellator and PFL, but I still want to give you guys a chance for parlays. So if we're looking for potential lock parlays we feel safe about, this right here. Gregor Gillespie, Carlston Harris, 2-fight parlay is going to give you plus 162. I think this is an absolute lock. I'm playing it myself as my safest parlay, probably of the week, and I think it's going to deliver. You want to add a little more spice. I think you're looking at plus 349 with Kyle Dawkins. Phil Hawes, excellent power in the hands, good wrestling, but the gas tank is terrible. Now, it's not terrible, honestly. Tell you about it. It's not good, and a guy like Kyle Dawkins, who's very good gas tank, and he's a go type fighter. He'll close distance, he moves well, he strikes, he does very good jiu-jitsu. I mean, the guy does it all at a pretty high level. I like Dawkins to beat Phil Hawes. He's been exposed before. I don't think the hype is as real on Dawkins as it is. I mean, I've seen him lose numerous times, and I was high on him the first 2-3 times I saw him take bad losses, and then the last fight against Amavov, I thought it was a draw, or maybe he even lost, and then he got the decision. I'm not super impressed with him there. He didn't go for the kill at the end, man. He was tired. He was gassed. Now, if I'm going to throw down another guy, I'll put Ludovic Klein. At plus 529, you got Klein, Dawkins, Harris, and Gillespie. I like it, and I think it's very possible for success. I'm going to personally, on this parlay at least, fade the Neil Magny fight, just because I do have the concern of the height of Neil Magny, but he should knock out Neil. Because you look, Lorenz Larkin closed the distance, knocked out Neil. Jeffrey Neal is a less explosive version of Lorenz, more traditional kickboxing rather than karate style. That's how Neil, I guess, the best way to sum him up, but obviously he's a very different fighter. Plus 1,503 if our girl Angela Hill delivers with Klein, Dawkins, Harris, Gillespie, and Angela Hill. I like plus 1,500 money. I'm going to be playing this parlay. I think it's a money one. I think another one we're going to absolutely succeed on, guys. Like I'm telling you, there is some real success that I see happening on these parlays. And I think that this one right here is some real money. Let me double check the live chat here and see what's going on. Yeah, Dawkins is very live after the first. Honestly, I like a live bet on Dawkins if he stays after a round. Neil should be a lock, martial arts fan. He should. My only concern is just the reach, so that's why I didn't throw him on that parlay. But I'm gonna have him on others. Absolutely, Neil. You look at Neil. The guy's a contender. He just happened to get destroyed when he fought against the best striker in MMA. I mean, you look at Neil, and then you look at Jorge Masvidal. I mean, Masvidal got destroyed by Wonder Boy in a similar fashion. Wonder Boy is just a freak of freaks. I don't know. His striking is special, man. I will say, if he beats Gilbert Burns, I want to see Wonder Boy Usman. That's a crazy fight. I think that would be very interesting. And it's crazy Anthony Pettis, the one guy with a knockout over him. Let me reset this here, and I do want to potentially play a little more of the parlay game. If you're feeling confident, if you're feeling like you want to really throw some money at it and make some serious dough, we're going here. We're gonna reset it similar to where we were. The reason I'm skipping the Chukwi Park fight is because Park does bring decent wrestling. Chukwi should absolutely stop the wrestling and should be able to piece him up on the feet. He's the naturally bigger guy. He's definitely stronger. But with a guy like Chukwi, not a ton of fights, you have to be a little cautious. But I'm not saying he's not a good pick. He's still a good pick and he should win. We're just skipping him here. Gillespie's money. And then let's say we wanted to put Neil down at plus 868 now. And let's say we also felt our boy Ben Rothwell was going to come through. And then we threw Angela Hill. This is another crazy one, but I like crazy. And I do think there's a success rate for it. I think that we can deliver on it. Plus 4,516. Kyle Dawkins, Ludovic Klein, Carlston Harris, Gregor Gillespie, Geoffrey Neal, Ben Rothwell, and Angela Overkill Hill. Money parlays here. I'm telling you guys, some real money to be made. I just think that, I think we're going to hit with this one. Personally, I'm going to play it. I think I'm going to end up hitting with it. It's a big one, and you know big parlays are not always guarantees, but we hit them sometimes, and we hit them often, and I think we're going to hit it here with this line right here. Overall, I like the UFC's card. I think they have good action. If you're looking to bet Cerrone in your parlay, be a little cautious. Don't throw the house at it because I am a little nervous with Cerrone. Same with the Benoit Shea fight. I'm a little nervous with it. Even if my picks are there, I mean, what did I say? I said fade the bet on Benoit and maybe dog or pass it. Benoit should win. He's at higher level of MMA experience, but Adeshev, only 6 fights, could improve so much from fight to fight. And that's something we really got to note with guys with not that much experience. Kyle Dawkins should be a lock, and the odds being as close as they are, I think he's an excellent pickup. Marina Rodriguez at minus 220. She should win. People are concerned about her gas tank. I think she should beat Michelle Watterson here. But we're going to see. I think that's personally, I mean, if you want to throw down on it, you can. Rodriguez should win, but be cautious with the amount of money you're throwing down just simply because of Rodriguez's lack of 5-round experience. That's a real concern you have to have with fighters that haven't gone the 5 rounds. But now, I do have some cross plays that I want to bring up. I'm going to go over the most confident cross plays that I have for PFL, Bellator, and UFC. We're going to bring a couple names from each organization. I'm going 2 to 3 from each organization. We'll first start here. We're going to throw Ente Daleja. I feel like he's a guy we got to put on. And we'll throw Usman. Minus 210, not beautiful money. If you want to add Justin Willis, the dog, you can. We'll add him at the end to see what it brings us to. But let's first get the favorites picked out as we get through here. Now, who do you want to add in here? You're feeling like you want strong confidence. You're feeling like you want somebody to deliver, but still good price. You got to pick up Michael Venom Page at minus 280. So here's where my dilemma is. I want to put Rumble because I think he should destroy Jose Augusto. But my biggest fear is, what if Rumble doesn't show up? He looks like trash, and then he destroys my parlay for the week here. Rafael Stotts has been extremely consistently solid. Josh Hill's a legit fight, but I do like it at the minus 210. If you want it to be a little less risky, you could throw Patchy, but he's not going to give you much return, and that's why I don't want to put him down. So plus 196 for these 4 right now. At the end of the day, I like it. I don't love it, but I do like it, and I do think we can succeed on it. Gregor Gillespie's a money pickup. If you want to add Dawkins, it's plus 697. He wasn't my original addition. Carlston Harris at minus 150, so you're looking at plus 675. For a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fight parlay. It's a pretty good 6 fight parlay. There's definitely some upside and possibilities for delivering, and you're going on each league with 2 fights, so you're not risking everything down in one night. But if you want to add some dogs to spice your night up a bit, you can add in Angela Hill is bringing you plus 1877. You want to add in Rafael Carvalho plus 5,533. If they allow you to do this, guys, and we succeed on it, plus 15,673. That's a good amount of money to make. And I understand if you want to take some of the guys out, if you want to just do a 3-way dog parlay, I mean, we could potentially do that. Let me just check this out here. Hold on. Getting picks to save my own parlays here, so I make sure I get them down. All right, so let me just reset it. I'm going to do a dog parlay, but we're going to do it across each organization. So most confident dog, we're going Justin Willis here. And then over here, we're going to go with Rafael Carvalho. And then over in the UFC, we like Angela Hill plus 1935. If you did a dog play, there's value there. And there's high possibility. Let me check out some comments because I haven't looked at it and I apologize. All right. What's the line on Dawkins round 3? Let me double check that and bring that up for you, man. You could parlay up some boxing. I think you could parlay up boxing. Here's my biggest concern with parlaying up boxing is the odds of shit. I don't know if you guys watched my video where I talked about the boxing fights, the whole bettable card for the Canelo fight. I mean, you're looking at crazy odds. You guys, I know a lot of you probably saw it. At what is it? Minus 2,000, minus 6,000. That's why normally I don't cover boxing, but I've been wanting to for a long time. And I do feel like we're going to have some big success on the predictions for boxing because it's kind of a pickable game. I know boxing very well. I mean, I started with boxing personally as my first martial art ever training. It's a game that they know who they want to win with the promotions. Whereas MMA, it's let the best man win a lot of the time, especially at the higher level. Let me get a sip of this real quick. Got a little bit of time left here. We're not going to keep you on all night, but we'll definitely talk for a bit longer. Martial arts fan, boxing and MMA are excellent. And you can definitely go double it up. What's going on, Mystic Sosa? How you doing, buddy? You could double up boxing and MMA. I would throw a little money on Canelo, and then you can parlay him with some of the guys that I picked out with strong confidence for UFC, Bellator, PFL. Eblin and Corrales over Stotts. Honestly, Thomas Howard, I do agree with that. It's just I was looking for people in the minus 200 range to throw on there. All right, so let me answer the question. You said you want me to check the line on Dawkins round 3. Let me double check that because I'm actually really curious on what Dawkins round 3 is. I think we pulled it up, but I don't remember where it's sitting at. Let me eliminate this parlay here. All right, Dawkins round number 3. Can we find it? Here we go. Dawkins is going to win this fight, guys. I have a lot of confidence in Dawkins. His brother's really good, too. And when you got two high-level brothers, there's a lot of improvement going on because they're sparring all the time and stuff. Plus 750. Dawkins. Plus, if you guys want to know my craziest pickup of the week that I was planning on throwing something down, this is a secret. This is something that I'm gonna let you guys know on this show because this is a new show we're starting. You know, if you guys don't tune into the specific videos about the betting or the post weigh-in recap, you miss things if you're just watching. So make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe. Keep it locked in MMA experts covering all things MMA and boxing too. We're gonna give our brother and sister sport boxing some love because it is a great sport, even though sometimes the fights do let us down a bit. Let's be honest, the matchmaking sometimes is not great, but there's good fights this weekend. Plus 1,400, Dawkins by submission, round number 3. I have a feeling you're going to see Phil Hawes get really tired probably quarter or halfway through that second round. And I think that Dawkins might put it on him and get a submission in the third round. I could see him get a knockout too, but I was going to play that plus 1,400. You can throw a little something down and you're going to come back with some big return. So definitely a possibility if you're looking to throw a little money at Dawkins winning this fight in the third round by submission. Just winning it in the third round in general is probably a good pickup because I could see our man getting finished like that. I lost it here. Where is it? Dawkins wins in round 3 plus 750, and there's no risk of if you pick the wrong method. Definitely some good money to be made on these cards. Overall, UFC, Bellator, PFL, they have a lot of good action throughout this week. This was the full betting breakdown. We're going to go more into it tomorrow. PFL weigh-ins will be out, so we'll do that video tomorrow. And then the next day, we'll be covering the Bellator card. We'll do that video. We'll go through all the best bets to make there. Hopefully, they release some more props. And then, obviously, the weigh-in recap for the UFC. We'll give the updated betting preview. But let me check out some of you guys in the comments here. Galahad. I like Galahad. He's a good boxer. I mean, he moves well. Have you seen that guy? He's so fun to watch. I love fighters with this style. Bro, Thomas Howard, lock that in. Plus 750 and plus 1,400. I mean, the odds are too good. And you got a guy with a bad gas tank. Are you kidding? This is the way it's going to go. But guys, smash that like button. I'll stick around for a couple moments, have a second sip of the drink, and answer some comments here in the live chat if you guys are interested in chatting it up. But if you guys haven't, subscribe to the channel. Like this video, the goal, 70 likes. We're going to hit it for sure. This is a new series. It's this week's best MMA bets. Specifically this week is for UFC, Bellator, and PFL. New series. It will be done continuously. From now on, we're doing the best bets. We'll do it one day out of the week. I'll pick it that it fits perfectly in. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get every one of the props in sometimes because at the end of the day, these odds makers don't release them sometimes till the day of the fights. But it is what it is. We're doing the best we can here. And we're covering the best sport on the planet, guys. Combat sports is the way. But I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Smash that like button and subscribe. This was the first ever episode of this week's best MMA bets for UFC, Bellator, and PFL. It's going to be a new series. It's sticking around. So let me know what you guys think of it. If you liked it, if you hated it, let me know what you guys think. Let me quickly answer a couple questions here. Martial arts fan, the most confident pick on each card. I mean, if odds are not a thing, I think you gotta go with Harrison for PFL. For Bellator, I really like Michael Venom Page and Logan Storley. And then for UFC, I really like Gregor Gillespie, Carlston. I also like Neil. There's definitely some money made. And Dawkins as well, his odds are actually really good. So there's definitely some good dinero here. I appreciate everybody who liked the video. I appreciate everybody for just tuning in. And we had a lot of fun talking. I hope you guys enjoyed this new series. It's going to be a new thing from here on out. So smash that like button and subscribe. Let me know what you guys thought. If you're watching it on replay, let me know in the comments. If you're watching it now, say something in the live chat. You love it, you hate it, whatever you think of it. We're going to keep doing it. Lock in at MMA Experts. Subscribe. Like. We're blowing up. The algorithm's pumping. A lot of viewers going to be coming in from here on out. And we're doing big things here at MMA Experts. Lots of plans. Lots of series coming out. This channel is going to be a mainstay for if you're just an MMA fan, or if you're a degenerate MMA bettor, or if you just love hearing people do live streams and talk about fist fighting. No matter what, this is the channel for it, MMA Experts. I appreciate all the kind words in the live chat. That's pretty much it for me. Signing off. This week's best MMA bets. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you all in the next one.